This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello and welcome to Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Marcie Davis, and my co-host is my amazing service dog, Fenway. And as many of you know, I have a huge soft spot for children's books, and especially children's books that highlight the extraordinary work of working dogs, whether they're service dogs, facility dogs, military dogs, or therapy animals. All of these dogs are heroes. And I love it when we can introduce young readers to their courage and heart, because we're absolutely shaping the next generation of animal lovers and advocates, and hopefully trainers and other individuals who want to be involved in this wonderful work. So I'm thrilled today to welcome someone who is an author, and her name is Janet Bell. And Janet is going to talk to us today about her new children's book, Sunny, the Coast Guard Dog's Dynamite Adventure. And I love this book. It's an adorable story that takes its readers into the exciting world of the U.S. Coast Guard, where Sunny becomes a hardworking and determined Coast Guard dog and faces all kinds of challenges and danger, but of course has the call to serve. So come right back after these quick messages from our sponsors that we love as we welcome Janet Bell to the show.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms, and our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. We're so excited to have author Janet Bell with us today. Hello, Janet, and welcome.
Good morning, Marcie. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited for you to be with us today to talk to us about this adorable book that you've written. So I want to start out by asking you to please tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to write Sunny, the Coast Guard Dog's Dynamite Adventure.
Well, my first career is as an attorney. This is my second career. The type of work I do is I work with not-for-profits. I work with children in the not-for-profit, and I work with women coming out of domestic violence relationships who are looking to restart their lives. And I have totally different reasons for getting involved writing this book. I've always loved dogs. I've always had dogs. I trained and worked with one therapy dog who showed a particular interest in working with children. So we worked in libraries and schools with children who were learning how to read. I'm in the process of training my second therapy dog, and he also shows a particular interest in working with children. So he has one more class he has to pass, another hour and a half. And
yeah, what's his name?
Cooper.
Oh, Cooper. Yay, Cooper. That's wonderful.
My first therapy dog, we adopted when she was 4 years old. And the Cooper we adopted when he was 16 months old.
Oh, that's wonderful. And did you adopt both of them thinking of that work for them? Or was that something that came after? Cooper, probably, yes. But yeah, tell us, how did you get into that, Janet?
Well, the first collie's name, they're both collies, and they're purebred collies, but we adopted them. Fendi came with the name, and she was born in Brazil as part of a Brazilian-American breeding program, and she was used as a breeding dog. And when we got her at age 4, she just didn't communicate. She just sat in a corner and she didn't eat and she didn't do anything. We took her to a dog whisperer for 1 hour, and the dog whisperer said, she's going to be a great dog, leave her alone. And after a year, she came out of her shell, and I started working with her, and I decided that she really did love children and she had a calling. So we signed up with the Good Dog Foundation to become a therapy dog team.
Oh, I love it. Oh, well, and that's just so wonderful, Janet, that you honored what she needed and just let her, find her way and her footing, literally. That's so sweet. Well, animals come to us in so many different ways and for so many different reasons. And I just love hearing stories about how they become these incredible helpers. Well, tell us what inspired you to write about Sunny. How did you get from therapy dogs to a Coast Guard dog?
It was an article in the New York Times on December 4th, 2009. And it was a crazy article. It was about a homeless Dutch dog who was sent to Israel to become a bomb-sniffing member of the Israel Defense Forces. And his name was Mikey. And this was right in the New York Times. I mean, it was such an article that I clipped it out and I still have it. But anyway, so Mikey gets to Israel. He finishes his training and they say to Mikey, you're a surplus dog. We don't need you anymore. So Mikey needed a new home and a new job. And about the same time, the city of Helena, Montana police department was looking for a bomb-sniffing dog. They couldn't afford the $20,000 it costs for a newly certified explosive sniffing dog, but they could afford a plane ticket for Mikey. And Mikey was sent to Helena, Montana. And he gets there with a list of Hebrew commands, and there are high expectations that he's going to be a wonderful explosive sniffing dog, and they think he's a dud because he can't communicate and he doesn't understand English. So fast forward to December of that year, and the police department gets a request from the Capitol in Montana for Mikey and his handler to please work at the annual Hanukkah menorah lighting ceremony outside the Capitol. And they go to the Capitol, and there are 3 rabbis discussing in Hebrew who was going to light the menorah, and Mikey's ears perked up. And the handler realized Mikey's ears perked up. And after the ceremony, Mikey and the handler went over to one of the rabbis and said, we could use some help. And the rabbi was delighted because there weren't very many Hebrew speakers in Montana. And he could talk to Mikey. The handler learned the proper way of pronouncing the commands, and Mikey became a star. And that story stayed with me, and I still keep it in a folder. And that got me thinking about bomb-sniffing dogs, explosive sniffing dogs. I also live with my extended family seasonally right near a Coast Guard station. And over the years, they've adopted 2 puppies. They've adopted Coco and another puppy. And they were both meeters and greeters. And then the wheels started turning in my brain. What if Coco needed to do more with her life? What if she didn't want to just be a meter and greeter? What if she wanted to have a superpower and help people? What could she possibly do? She wasn't good at swimming in my mind. She couldn't catch a frisbee. She didn't want to chase seagulls off a dock because they were her friends. What was she going to do? So I invented a little boy named Jamie for the story, who noticed that Sunny had an incredible sniffing nose, and the story took off from there.
Yeah, and I love how you cover so much of Sunny's life and journey. That was a lot for you to cover in a children's book, Janet. That was awesome because you really take the reader a long way into what happens from the beginning to becoming that superpower action dog. So what age group were you really thinking you were writing this book for when you were trying to tell all of that?
6 to 9-year-olds.
Awesome. And was it hard for you to get all of those different aspects and time it out through all that process?
I got some help along the way. I entered a pitch contest in August of 2024 on Martha's Vineyard. And I was chosen as one of the 5 projects, the only children's book to pitch live at the 2024 Summer Islanders Right at the Featherstone Center for the Arts in Oak Bluffs on Martha's Vineyard.
That is so cool.
There were 5 professionals. Each of the 5 of us had 3 minutes to make our pitch. And the whole thing was organized by Jules Pfeiffer's daughter, Kate Pfeiffer. She was in charge of it.
And what was your pitch, Janet?
My pitch was about this book and why the book was going to be a great book. And at the time, I didn't have a little boy in it. I didn't have any children in the book. And they told me flat out I had to add a child because children would relate to the child. So I went back and I added the child. And that was Jamie. And I think it just helped fill out the book.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. That was good advice. And do they know now that you published and that the book is a reality?
Yes, because I went back in 2025 and I listened to the new people doing their pitches.
Oh, good. You got to go full circle with them. Oh, nice.
And I held up my book.
Oh, were you one of the judges for this?
No, these are professionals. These are people in the industry.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That is so cool. What a great opportunity for you.
It was great fun. It was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us, why do you think it's important for children to learn about working dogs, especially dogs in military or roles like Sunny?
I think it's important for children to know that dogs are just more than pets, that they can have other roles, that they can have jobs, that they can have superpowers, and they can help people. And this is a very unusual type of job, to have an incredible sniffing nose that leads you to help people. The nose the dogs have give them much greater depth in what they smell. When we smell tomato sauce, the dogs can pick out the basil. They can pick out the tomatoes, the garlic, the onions. They can detect a teaspoon of sugar in the equivalent of 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools filled with water.
Can you just get your head around that, Janet? That is so unbelievable, but so amazing what their sniffing capacity is. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, and I love how you use that in the book, how you have Sunny, and I don't want to give too much away, but I love how you do refer to some of that, like you were saying garlic or other kinds of things. I love how you bring that out in the book, because I think the readers they'll love that. They'll know what those smells are.
And it's important for children to know that it's not I want to do this, I'm going to be a success. Sunny had failures. Sunny got scared. Sunny needed reassurance that she could do things. When she saw the helicopter, and she was supposed to get in the helicopter, to her, it was a giant orange and white bird with blades on its head that was making a lot of noise. And she was terrified. But she was with her handler, and her handler kept reassuring her that everything was going to be okay. And it was okay, because Sunny had tremendous trust in her handler. And that's what these dogs need to succeed as explosive sniffing dogs.
Yeah, I love that. And I loved that in the book where Sunny was very aware of the dangers and of things that Sunny should have been aware of and concerned about. But I loved that about how that trust, and Sunny was willing to take those risks, which were very scary. When that helicopter she was going to have to get on the helicopter, I was starting to think, oh my goodness, that's going to go up so high, and oh my goodness. But it was lovely how Sunny was willing to take that risk and not let fear keep her down. Love that.
And there are particular breeds of dogs that they lean toward for explosive sniffing dogs, because the dogs are not couch potatoes. They like plenty of activity. They like to please. And for them, a reward is playing. And whether they consider their work playing or a ball at the end of the day playing, they work for playing. Other dogs work for food.
Right.
And they are not the ones that the Coast Guard chooses.
Yeah, it's interesting what drives a dog. Yeah, and that's it, right? That's what you need, a dog that's super driven to do different jobs. Yeah. Well, hold that thought, Janet, because we're going to take just a quick break and hear some important messages from our sponsors. And we're going to come right back and keep talking more about your book and about the wonderful, wonderful working dogs. So come right back.
Real people, real stories.
Our little dog developed this lymph problem. The chemotherapy lasted for 6 months, started developing more lymph nodes. So I thought I'd just try carnivore. The lymph nodes started to go down. Then I took him into the vet to have him checked out, and there was no signs at all inside.
My cat had issues that developed in his eye, and 3 months later, my veterinarian said, let's go ahead and remove the eye. I heard the carnivore on advertising, so I said, you know what? I'm going to order this product. They did the procedure. They did all the tests, and they said, I don't know what you did. This product saved his eye.
I've got a Labrador who could hardly lift herself up off the floor. The treatment was chemotherapy. That's when I said, this could be the ticket. About 3 weeks, you could tell. She was very alert. She was going on a 5-mile walk. She is just like prime again.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivore.com. That's carnivora.com.
Use promo code PETLIFE at checkout for 15% off your order at carnivora.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. We are visiting today with children's book author Janet Bell about her new book, Sunny, the Coast Guard Dog's Dynamite Adventure. And before the break, we were starting to talk about more specifics about these working dogs. So I do want to ask you, Janet, to continue telling us about that and about some of the research that you did on Coast Guard canine teams, on bomb-sniffing dog teams, as you were writing the book.
Well, I became even more interested in the explosive sniffing dogs when I started seeing them around at a train station, outside of buildings in New York City, actually in schools. And I wanted to know more about it. And I wanted to write a book where children were going to learn something and learn to respect dogs for what they could do to help people. So I started out way back in the 1940s and learned that the dogs were used on the East Coast and the West Coast of the United States to look for, as part of the patrols with their handler, to look for German submarines and German spies. And in the 1990s, there were just a handful of canine teams, canine explosive detection teams in New Jersey, Texas, and Florida. But in 2001, after 9/11, there was an urgency to have these teams. And they started training. Now the training is done at the Joint Force Base, San Antonio, Lackland, Texas. That's where all the training is done. And in order to become a Coast Guard explosive detection team, the handlers have to have very specific training. They have to be either Marine Enforcement Specialists, Class 1 and Class 2, or a boatswain mate, Class 1 and Class 2. That's before they even are chosen.
Yeah.
After that, they sign up for 6 years with the same dog, and the dog comes to live with them, and it becomes part of their family.
Yeah.
And when the dog retires, then the dog can stay with them if the handler wants to keep them with the family.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Thank goodness they can do that now. Yes, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
And everybody goes to Texas for the training.
Yeah. How long are they in Texas for that training? Do you know, Janet?
The handlers start with 3 months without the dog.
Okay. Wow.
The dogs go for 10 to 15 weeks without the handlers.
Wow.
Then they have another 10 weeks together.
Yeah. It's so much work. So much work that the humans and the canines put into it. That's what's just so impressive to me, that commitment. Yeah. Well, tell me, what do you think are the core values or the lessons that Sunny is teaching children that you want children to take away from Sunny?
I want children to understand everybody can have their own superpower. And it doesn't have to be what other people think is a superpower. It can be something unique. And you have to work very hard, and you have to be focused, and you have to really want it. And Sunny did. Sunny wanted her nose to be her superpower, and she wanted to help people. And it was very unusual, but she succeeded. There were only 18 Coast Guard explosive detection teams in the whole country. In my mind, she living.
That's quite an elite club. Yes, that is a wonderful elite club. Yeah, that's how special. I love it. I love it. And I love how, as you said, that Sunny had some setbacks, and everything is not perfect. It is a lot of work, and you have to be very purpose driven. And Sunny is the epitome of that purpose driven life. I love it. I love it. Well, I got to ask you, what was the most challenging part for you, Janet, for writing this book?
This is going to sound really crazy, but it was working with the illustrator.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us about that. Tell us about the illustrator and what you wanted to communicate with the illustrations.
I wanted children to see real Coast Guard uniforms without the insignia, because I don't have permission to use insignia. I wanted them to see what the boots look like, what the uniforms look like, how the women Coast Guard officers had to pull their hair back. I wanted to see them to see what a Coast Guard boat looked like. I didn't want just, a little tug to be a Coast Guard boat. I wanted them to understand that this is something they could actually see in their real life somewhere. And they might say, after looking at the book, I've seen this before. I know what it is. But the illustrator had a hard time because he wasn't familiar with the Coast Guard. And I couldn't send pictures because I didn't want him to copy anybody else's work. So I had to find photographs. And send him photographs.
Oh, that was a good idea. Yeah. Wow. Well, I wondered about that because I love the illustrations. I think they're great. And I love the cover that has that big orange helicopter on it. So it's very easy to visualize that when you see the cover. And it has the Coast Guard ship. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you covered all that. Yeah, but you found that to be the most challenging part.
There was nothing that was right on the first try.
Right. You had to be like Sunny. Yep. And keep going. Yeah. Yeah.
Sunny wasn't right either. Sunny wasn't soft enough. Sunny wasn't cuddly enough. Sunny's nose was wrong. Steve was too dark in color.
Yes.
Janie's clothes looked like they were from Last Come Home.
So you were looking at every little detail, Janet, which is what makes a great children's author. Yeah, you were. You were thinking of every little detail for your readers, which is so lovely that you were that determined. And look what happened. Look at the beautiful result that you have. You did capture all of that.
I even had to tell the illustrator that Janie's sneakers had to be one color. Plus, little boys don't have 3 pairs of sneakers.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, those illustrations definitely bring Sunny's world to life. They do. They absolutely do. Yeah. Well, was there a moment in the writing process that felt especially meaningful or emotional for you as you were working on this project?
When she got to her mission, and I could tell that the book was coming together. Because she had undergone all her training, she had graduated, and now she was going to really get to do something. And at that point, I felt, wow, this is what I want to convey. This is what I want children to see.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, yeah. And that's why I was saying, you cover such a breadth of that whole life experience that you do that really well in a short amount of words and pages. Yeah, that's not easy to do, Janet. Yeah. Well, I want to ask you, we've talked a lot about children, but what do you hope parents and educators will take away from the book?
First of all, the dogs aren't scary. Not everybody has experiences meeting dogs, touching dogs. And I found that when I worked with Fendi, my first therapy dog. I would go to the library and there would be children coming in with their parents who had never pet a dog. And a military dog might seem very scary. And you have to have respect for the military dog not to touch them when they're working. But by the same token, they add color to your life. They bring excitement and happiness. Mm-hmm. And they always want to, most dogs, always want to be helpful and do the right thing. Can't say all dogs.
Right,
I know some dogs who don't.
Right. I'm sure there are some working dogs that feel like they don't too. Yeah.
I know a golden retriever whose goal in life is to dig the most muddy holes and put her tennis balls in them.
I know a golden retriever who shall not be named that has some of those moments too, Janet. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that is a big thing about that, about the perceptions that we have, right? And what yes. we think. Yeah, which would be so important. And you do get so much of that from the book. Is there any hopeful thing that you want parents and educators to take away? What would that be?
I want everybody to understand that if you want to do something, if you want to have a superpower, if you want to be special, you just have to keep trying and understand that it's not a straight line to the finish line. There are going to be ups and downs, but you just keep trying. And I'm a believer that if you try hard enough, anything is possible.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway. Yeah, that is the big takeaway for sure. I love that. I love it. Well, tell us, if Sunny could leave our listeners with one message, Janet, what would that be? Besides trying, what would Sunny have to say?
How happy she is that she can be helpful.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, sweet girl. Yes. And she's extremely helpful. Well, I want to ask you, are there any more Sunny adventures coming or in the works?
Yes. I'm working on one in a different environment where she has to sniff out explosives in a totally different type of place and maybe meet up with the dog who's a water specialist.
Oh, a friend or something more maybe, Janet. Yeah. Oh, you're teasing us. Okay. That sounds wonderful. Well, you'll have to come back. Well, I know it's a process and takes time, but I'm excited to hear that Sunny's going to have more adventures coming.
Definitely.
Yeah. And tell us, how can our listeners get more information about you, Janet, about the book? How can they order the book? Give us that info.
The book is available on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble online. It's also available for those people in the Northeast at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute in Woods Hole, Massachusetts. It's available at the Martha's Vineyard Museum gift shop. It's available at independent bookstores in different parts of the United States and from Ingram Spark. But that, I believe, you have to buy quantity. And then it's a discount.
Okay. Wow. It is all over the place, which is excellent. And we will put some of these on our site, Janet, so that we can share that. Do you have any social media that people should be aware of?
I'm having a website built.
Okay.
I had some problems with the pictures.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you got those worked out. So,
we worked them through. Now the pictures are terrific. We just have to get the website up.
Yes, and you will. Well, good. You can tell us more about that when you come back again, Janet.
I'd love to. I look forward to it.
Okay, so do we. Well, thank you so much for being with us and for sharing Sunny with us and her wonderful adventures. So we're just so excited for you and the book. Yes, congratulations on it, Janet.
Thank you, Marcie, and thank you, Mark.
And thank you, our listeners, for being with us today. We're so glad you could join us. And you know that we love hearing from you. So let's stay connected. And you know you can email any questions, comments, or ideas for a future show. You can reach us at Marcie, Marcie, at PetLifeRadio.com. So thanks so much for being with us today, and take good care.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.